So when I was homeless. I was in Toronto. It was a thunderstorm that night. It was like a snowstorm on that night. And the place where I was, the nearest shelter was 7 or 8 kilometers away from there. I had $0. I had no money. Buses were not running. And it was -40. It was close to -40 that night. So I was like, hey, I can't survive on the road. So just let's walk to the shelter. And at that night, I was walking, the wind was blowing against me. So my cap was all going away with the air. I have to again go back and pick my cap. So most of the time I walked backwards against the wind. So my cap stays on my head. It was that chilly. So I reached to the homeless shelter after 2.5 hour walk. And when I reached there, unfortunately, the time was over. There's a special time, there's a time window in which they allocate beds. And when I reached there, they said, we have allocated all of our beds, and sorry, we do not have a space for you. There was no other shelter near that. It was in Brampton. There was no other shelter nearby. And I said, okay, no problem. Let me sleep on the floor. And they said, no, it's not our policy. We cannot. So please leave the shelter. And I was like, really? So they threw me out of the shelter. They asked me to leave. And I was like, okay. So anyways, I said, it's okay, I'll see what happens. And I went there, and there was a footpath, there was a strip mall. I went there and sat on a footpath, and I thought, okay, I'll pass the night here. Within an hour, I knew that I will not survive that night. The cold was imbibing through my clothes. It reached to my bones, and I knew I will not. I was malnourished. I did not had food for maybe 2 days, and I knew I will not survive. And Shrito, literally hundreds of people walked by, hundreds. Not even a single person lifted their eye, got their attention to me that, hey, this is a human being lying on a road in a -40 thunderstorm, and we should do something or help him or do something. No one, no one. And at that point, I gave up. I was heartbroken. I was tired. I was desperate. I said, I give up on life today. Luckily, a homeless person and a street working girl, which is commonly known as a prostitute, they were walking by. They saw me. They came to me. They attended to me. They gave me blanket. They gave me soup. They gave me food. They attended to me. And they saved me that night. And I was like, oh my God, these people have more humanity than the other hundreds which passed by. And fast moving forward, this is the solution. I think that night, God made me experience that night. I realized that the problem of solving homelessness is the solution to solve homelessness is not to create more homes. The solution is to change the perception and the thinking of a common person towards homelessness. We don't think that they are humans. We are busy in a fight between man and woman. We are busy in the fight of who will reach to the top. We have forgotten that God has made us human first and then a man or a woman. We as a society has lost the dignity of being a human being. That I want to inculcate again in the society. That I want to touch that nerve in the society that, hey, care for your human beings. It's very cheap. And again, coming back to the power of media, I can talk to you, I can talk to single people, but if it's done on a media scale, the effect will be very rapid and very effective. And that's why I'm talking to CMAC, and the email which I sent you, you can see that I'm requesting them that allow me, give me some resources that I can run a media campaign to raise awareness. When was the last time a really good media campaign was raised against homelessness? So that's what I'm asking, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I've experienced it firsthand. One radio show and over 350 people at me, and they're ready to help me. They're ready to support my cause. So if I go to media, if I tell this thing, if I have different strategies, I have different out of the box tactics, I really think I can cause a dent in there. And I really want to cause a dent in there, this problem. And I know I'm talking for a long time, but I do want to add one last point in this. that if you just take Vancouver as a city, GVA as a city, there are 5,000 homeless people, Sharito, 5,000 homeless people in this. I saw a video on World Economic Forum. There was a small village in Europe, and they solved the problem of homelessness by 3D printing housing. They 3D printed housing. I'm not saying make a big mansion for a homeless people. No, I'm just talking about a small 3D printed house with a bed, with a washroom, and with a table and chair. It costed them $4,000 to them, one house. So if you multiply 4,000 by 5,000 homeless people, the total cost of the project is 20 million, Shanito. And the government is putting $70 billion, $70 billion in national housing strategy. $70 billion in national housing strategy. While the solution of homelessness is between 20 to 25 to $30 million only. So what I want you all, whoever is listening to me or whoever will listen to me, is to think differently. It is possible. It's common sense. We just don't give attention to it. We are too busy in our life routines fighting the battles which don't matter. This is the battle which matters, making our society better, living for others.